Alright, hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Dragon Yawn. I'm your host, Seafood Mike, and this is...
Robert Aldrich.
Yes, and we are coming from the mats at Tactical Kung Fu Mixed Martial Arts. For the longest time, we were somewhere else, and it was just me, and I had a different person with more hair, and who was a whole lot older. But this time, I'm here with Robert, who's not just an author, he is our resident Kung Fu master of the facepalm form.
I did not know that.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
It's more of a nose pinch.
Well, the nose pinch I think is part of it. There's a full face palm. It's very intricate.
There are many expressions of the oh god.
Why am I sitting next to this guy? And so so we haven't been here and done our thing for like almost this whole year, like
6 months or something.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, and the reason why is because I've been talking to Lama, all right, the man of Tai Chi himself, right, and he's super knowledgeable.
Older than the martial art itself.
Yes, almost. I mean, he does kind of fit my definition of crazy old man. Like I freaking love him. He's a wealth of knowledge, but at the same time, he really likes to talk, and so it's not much of us talking, having a discussion. It's more of I ask a question and he goes for like 30 minutes, right? It's been very cool. It's very informative. I don't really get a chance to talk. I mean, this is my outlet. I get to talk.
Excellent.
I freaking love talking.
Well, if you love talking, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're going to be talking about a lot of things, specifically John Wick. But I was just trying to give context as far as why we've been gone. So if you're really interested in some of the detailed knowledge of like martial arts, definitely check out some of those older Dragon Yawn videos. They even have some clips. They're really cool. I think even at one point he told me to shut up because he was talking. Like literally, the man loves to talk. It's crazy. He's awesome. And I think
Lama's great.
He is. I think the last one we actually filmed on Easter Sunday. Yeah, and so and we did that because he doesn't really believe in bunnies that lay eggs. Okay, and I don't believe in bunnies that lay eggs. Do you?
All I care about is the Reese's Cups.
Yeah. So,
if they're on sale, then I'll believe whatever you say.
So I have a lot of people that don't believe in bunnies that lay eggs. I mean, everybody kind of knows that is the time of the year when people celebrate when Jesus Christ died, rose again, and crapped out a whole bunch of couple eggs.
I'm leaving that one alone.
But it's true. I mean, if you look at like history, that's like the model that the Catholic Church did. Like they would go to other countries and take a crap all over the indigenous culture.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Oh, to be perfectly honest, man, I included that entire line of joking just for my pastor friends to see if they watched this.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah, so
gotcha. Okay, fantastic.
I'm pretty sure they don't. I mean, I do know that my mom watches this, and so
yeah.
I'll be getting a call. Yeah, I'll be getting a call as soon as this goes live.
Excellent.
She gets to that point. And so, and honestly, actually, I haven't even done this before. Hi, Mom! I'm on TV!
Hi, Mike's mom!
Yes, he's on TV too. Technically, we're on YouTube, but if you can stream this to a TV, we're on TV. Yeah. And so we've made it.
More people watch YouTube than watch TV now, that's for sure.
Totally. I made it. Literally, I made this.
It's true. You did.
And so, hence the quality. Yeah. And so, right? You know, honestly, I think like she's probably my #1 fan. Like, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if half the views on my channel were all her. Right?
Now, some of them are coming from me because I've gotten into trouble at work for watching them.
Well, that's not my fault.
No, it's not your fault.
I mean, you're the one calling out people watching them at work.
Am I?
Yeah, so you got on the Dragon Yawn. You've called people out who like, listen.
I'm not calling you out. I'm encouraging it. I'm trying to be a voice of education.
Yes, watch my videos.
Exactly.
Because I know my mom does.
Especially that you're the best martial art in the world, most effective martial art in the world. That's a video I've been sharing a lot. If you have not watched it, I highly encourage it because it addresses one of the most fundamental concepts for, I would say, the basis of wisdom. And I won't spoil it or not, but it's definitely a video worth checking out. It's a very incendiary title and for a reason. And if you haven't watched that video, definitely check it out. It's a very good video. Sent that to everybody I know.
You think I'm smart?
I do think you're smart.
So like I said, I'm pretty confident that my mom watches all of these things.
Well, good.
So, like half the time she's probably like, yeah, that's my boy. The other time she's like, yeah, that's my boy. Yeah. But anyways, we're here to talk about John Wick. Before we want to talk about John Wick, I do want to talk about a couple other things that I would have talked about earlier if I wasn't talking with Lama or having him talk at me. Which, like I said, very cool, but still, I learned, not recently, but a while back, absolutely cool fact, rats can play basketball. Did you know this?
I did not.
Yes, rats can play basketball. Okay, and so put this in this context. Let me give you a little story. I tried my best to call and follow up with people in my school that I haven't seen for a while because I want to call and make sure you're not like injured or dying or dead, right? And fortunately, I don't have any of that. But I call up this one kid, and he's like 17, right? And I said, "Hey man, I haven't seen you for a while." He's like, "Yeah, I've been really busy with school and I got a rat." And I'm like, "What?"
Are those things related?
And he's like, "Yeah, I got a rat for school," and I was still in disbelief, man. I was like, "Hold on, let me repeat this to you, like, because it really did sound in my head like you said you got a rat for school." He's like, "Yeah, I got to train a rat to play basketball." I'm like, "What?" All right? I've never even heard of this, but apparently,
hey, Wake Forest needs players.
That is very true.
NC State just buys them.
And so he was telling me that he was given a choice for his psychology class to either write an essay or train a rat to play basketball. And I'm like, dude, I would have gone with the essay. Cause
yeah, that seems like that was supposed to be an easy choice.
Yeah, if my grade had to depend on my ability to teach a marsupial or a little
rodent.
Rodent. It's a rodent. What, I don't even know what it is, right? To teach it to play a human game, basketball, like, nah, wouldn't happen. But
on baseball, I could totally see, but not basketball.
What they do is they just pick up a little ball and they put it in a hoop. They like slam dunk it, which is still better than what I can do. All right, goes and they slam dunk ball and then they go get a treat. So it's kind of a reward system thing. And
I'll slam dunk a basketball for a Reese's Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try, but yeah. So it's this thing, and he was telling me there's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube on how to, because why not? There's like how to do anything on YouTube, and there's even like rat basketball tournaments, right? So I spent like 40 minutes of my life watching a tournament of rats playing basketball. I was even kind of rooting for them.
Okay, right? So I've got some questions now.
Okay.
Now, is this you have not said that this is a rat-sized basketball court, so I am forced to assume that it is not, and this is a full-sized human basketball court.
No, this is a rat-sized basketball court.
Please tell me...
It's like the size of a shoebox.
Please tell me that there are rats, like, stacking on top of each other in order to make the slam dunk possible.
No.
Damn.
Although, that would have been really cool.
That would have been adorable.
That's a whole level of training. That's some teamwork right
there.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, basketball's a team sport, I assumed.
Yeah, it's just one-on-one rats, and they go back and forth. They each have their own little goal, and they have their own little dispenser of treats, right? And they have a ball, and so they put the ball through the hoop, then they go get a treat. Put the ball in the hoop, they go treat, and they just kind of go back and forth, see who can do it. And some of the rats will occasionally steal the ball from the other rat and put it through the hoop.
They get recruited to UNC.
Yeah, and then there was this one rat that was like super fast, just zipping back and forth, and at one point, like, he was not even waiting for the ball to hit the ground. He was going up through the bottom of the basket as the other rat was putting it through, and he was grabbing it and running it to his hoop.
I take it back. He's going to get recruited to Duke.
Yeah, dude, if I didn't know it being any better, I would swear he was, like, trained by Krzyzewski. I mean, it was just like... but the thing is that he didn't win the tournament because, well, like I said, it's streak-based, right? So he got full halfway through. After 2 games, he's like, "Nah, I got this. You know, I'm good. I'm not hungry anymore."
At least the shoe didn't blow up.
That's true. And so, definitely rats can play basketball. But going back to the kid, he had probably the best pun I've ever heard about this whole thing. He's like, "Yeah, man, after the project, I'm going to get another rat. I'm going to train them both martial arts, and then I'm going to have a cage match." Yeah, and I was like, "And the winner's going to be called Splinter." Right, and so
God, I should have seen that coming. And I was like, "There's no way he's going to go in that direction."
that was like a train, slow moving, man. That's like a boat. Like, it's gonna hit us.
And I just walked right into traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. So rats can play basketball. Totally the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. And I followed up with him afterwards and asked him how the project went. He was like, "Man, I think my rat is broken." I was like, "How can you break a rat?" I mean, this, whatever. So like, he was telling me that like in practice and training and stuff, the rat did phenomenal. But when it actually came time to play the game, he didn't do anything. I was like, "Dude, it just sounds like performance anxiety," which I don't know if a rat can have that, but that's apparently what his rat did. So I asked him, I was like, "Hey man, does that mean you failed because you couldn't get the rat to play basketball?" He's like, "Nah, I videotaped and documented all my training and stuff like that, and so I presented that instead, and that got me." So he like literally got an A for effort kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because honestly, if my grade depended on having a rat, I would have pulled the whole thing where I went to my teacher and, "Look, my dog ate my homework," like literally. It's like the rat was in a cage, couldn't go anywhere. Like, so that would have been my excuse. Well, like, I can't show you the rat playing basketball. Like, here's a video on YouTube.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Yeah, and so that was the first cool thing that I learned. The other one, I forgot who told me about it, but it was like, it totally changed my life. It was so freaking cool, right? They told me about a bird, a species of bird, right? Get this, the bird is called a booby, right? I didn't know this. It's a booby bird, man. It's like a double entendre with feathers, right? There's so much to it. I actually looked into it because I didn't believe them at first. I was like, how can you have a bird named booby? But apparently, the name kind of came before the context, right? Because English language, terrible, right? It comes from the Spanish slang bobo, which means stupid, which then automatically is like, I'm sitting there going, oh, that's why people think it's an insult to call another person a boob. They're calling them stupid. And the whole time I'm like, dude, I feel like the boob. Like, I didn't know what the word meant. I was like, cool, yeah, whatever. It says you're a boob, all right? But apparently these birds are stupid. But I looked them up, man, and like I said, it's just awesome. The fun you could have with just, somebody say, "Oh, you're talking about breasts." I'm like, "No, I'm talking about a bird, man." And so there is 6 different kinds, and they have weird names. Like, one is the red-footed booby, right? And the other is the blue-footed booby.
Okay? That's the only one I've heard of.
Yeah,
blue-footed booby.
And so the blue-footed booby, literally the blue is like the color of my shirt. Like, it might as well be Tar Heel blue, right? It's a Tar Heel booby. Okay, whereas a red-footed booby is like that shirt, so it's like the Tar Heel booby and the state booby. Okay, the Duke booby doesn't get any. We don't have any of those, right? But they have other ones, like they have a masked booby, which like literally it looks like it has a black mask. So it's like you can take that and be like, okay, we got superhero boobies, or maybe it's a bank robbing booby. You never know. It's like got a mask.
Come on, man.
It's mysterious.
It's a masked booby. Come on, that's a fetish thing. That's a bondage booby right there.
Bondage booby.
Yeah.
Then they also have the Peruvian booby, right? It's named after a country. And then they have the Nazca booby, which is named after a province of Peru. It kind of makes sense, but then you have the last one, which is the brown booby, which is brown, right? And you would think they would just name that after some, part of the country or whatever, like the other one. Like Nazca got a really good name, right? But essentially, it's a white booby, right? So why not just call it white booby? If you're going to call the other one brown booby, then you should call that white booby instead of just calling it brown booby. You shouldn't be naming stuff based on the color of its feathers, right? Brown boobies matter. Wouldn't you agree?
I'm leaving that one alone.
Okay. I mean, we're talking about birds here, people. All about birds. Yes. But here's the great thing, right?
Tell me.
The reason why they're called stupid is because they would go onto ships and it would be easily captured and eaten, right? And so they are on the coast and on islands. They're seabirds, which means you can totally get to them via motorboat. Like I said, man, double entendre with feathers.
God, my head hurts. Why are we friends? I feel very uncomfortable with the fact that you're talking about motorboating boobies.
You can't even say it right.
No, I can't.
Right. This is like, but yeah, it's
See, part of the problem is I don't know if you're going for a pun or not, because I can actually go into why they're so dumb. It's not that they're actually dumb; it's that they actually are lacking the predator avoidance instinct. You have the same problem with the dodo. That's why the dodos went extinct, is because they literally could not process predators. They weren't afraid, and boobies are very, very similar. But that's kind of a buzzkill on the whole thing, and you don't want a buzzkill with boobies.
No,
and
boobies
you
are
want
great.
you want boobies to be free. You want them to be live the life that they wish to live. They shouldn't be contained against their will.
Yeah.
I tried my best. They can't all be winners.
With the booby puns.
I was trying.
Yeah. It's just, and can't have them be cold otherwise. It'd be a peaks out. It's just kind of. See,
God,
it's so easy.
my head hurts.
It's so easy.
So does my soul.
Dude, I even wrote a song about it.
Oh Lord.
Okay, I pinned it to the music of Sister Christian.
No.
Yes,
No.
yes, motorboat. Treat those boobies right. Squeeze them all through the night.
Is it too early to start drinking?
Shine those headlights really
Oh
bright.
God. I
See?
hate you so much.
It's okay, man. I hate you 3000. Yeah.
It was worth a try.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh boy.
But that's as far as I've gotten in that song, which is about as far as I ever get. So, talking about the movies. Yeah, they're important, man.
Yeah.
Segueing, the reason why I have such a big fascination with boobies, because not just are they fun to play with, these particular birds, if you squeeze them, they're probably not going to end well. But the thing is that breast cancer is a huge deal, right? No, we're going into that.
Did you really
Yes.
use that as a segue?
I did. Not the best segue, but a segue.
That's a very generous assessment.
It's just like it's a segue. It's not really good. I didn't say it's a good one, but
Continue.
So breast cancer is a big thing, right? 1 out of 8 women get diagnosed with breast cancer. We're talking about cancer in general is like the second leading cause of death, and you definitely, like, breast cancer is one of those. I think the statistic now is that 1 out of every 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. 1 out of every 2 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, which means if you stick with me for your lifetime, you should be good. I've already had mine, right?
That's very true.
And so one of the things that definitely will help with not getting cancer or not passing away from cancer and it not being as bad is early detection. Okay, so you got to get checked out. And the thing about breast cancer, it used to be a thing where like older people would get it. Now it's really affecting young ladies. And so like literally, like we're talking in your 20s, right? So you have to either get checked out. I'm not necessarily advocating for a mammogram type thing, but go to a doctor, get the breast exam, or I think there's like self-exams,
Yeah.
and so it is massively important because sometimes those things are slow growing, sometimes it's fast, sometimes they'll pop up and kill you in like a year, all right, or spread to different places, and you want to get that like as soon as you can. Just go ahead and get that checked out. It's a very big thing, an important thing.
Let me jump in here really fast about that. So if you do decide, if you do start giving yourself breast exams, definitely the way to go. And let's say you feel a lump, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. Let's say you go to the doctor says, yep, that's a lump. Don't panic, it's not the end of the world. They do a biopsy, it's not the end of the world. It comes back positive, it's not the end of the world. Part of the reason breast cancer has become very controversial to talk about is there's a big schism in the medical community as to when you begin surveillance, when you begin doing yearly or semi-yearly or biannual checkups, that kind of a thing. Part of the problem is the tests are so sensitive that you can get a lot of false positives. So even if it comes back positive for breast cancer, don't panic. One of the things they're probably going to do immediately is redo the test. That's a good thing.
Yes.
But detection is key. You definitely would rather deal with a false positive than having cancer and not know it.
Yeah, and you definitely want to get like multiple viewpoints on it. It's never a bad thing to have a second or even a third or fourth opinion on something that could potentially change your entire life.
Right.
I mean, in all honesty, my cancer was found by the third doctor. Okay, so I got 3 opinions, and it wasn't until the third one that they really isolated. They were like, "Oh, you've got a golf ball inside your head. All right, we got to get that out now." All right, so getting the extra tests and seeing different things is fine, but like you said, don't panic. And it's the same thing for self-defense. Like if somebody's like and they freak out, they're not going to do as well as if they keep their calm and do whatever kind of technique. So getting checked out is a big thing and totally worth doing. I mean, in all honesty, man, if you ask me, I'll get free breast exams, man.
Don't.
I can't ever guarantee the results because I'm not a doctor. But
Don't do that.
no, and I
One
might
thing-
have to numb them first.
Here's the thing, though. Guys, this applies to you, too. We have a organ called a prostate. That will try to kill us. Statistically speaking, that will try to kill us. You got to get that checked out. And it's harder for a guy to check his prostate than it is for a woman to check her breasts. So go to the doctor, get the prostate exam. If you're just swallow the bad pill and go get that done, because statistically speaking,
and if you don't get that detected early enough, you will die from it. That's a big no-no. So
yeah.
Anyways, talking about movies.
Yes,
right?
let's segue.
Instead of I've gone from. What have I gone from? I've gone from
you've gotten all over the place here.
From rats to birds, right?
I'm glad you went with the birds there, and
yeah,
I was afraid you were going to say from rats to boobies.
No, but boobies are birds. We're talking about birds. This whole thing, we're talking about birds. Okay, always talking about birds.
Right.
Just talking about birds. Like I said, double entendre with feathers. Yes.
But now we're going on to John Wick.
John Wick, but actually really quick, because I feel like this is going to the internet. I need to brag, essentially. I want to segue and talk about another movie that is recent that everybody apparently saw, and that's Avengers Endgame. Okay, I love Avengers Endgame, and I watched that like 3 times. And probably going to be more. I mean,
at the filming of this video, it's still in theaters. So we've seen it 3 times in theaters.
Yeah, we're talking about a movie that was like the 2nd highest grossing film of all time in less than a month.
Yeah, give it a minute.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be great. The reason why I want to brag is that leading up to that movie, everybody was trying to guess the ending. Everybody was trying to speculate and everything about what's going to happen.
And you called it.
I called it. I called it like over a year before the movie came out. It just called it for the wrong film. Called it for the wrong film, right? Because I believe the hype. I believe Marvel, and hey, spoilers, they will lie to you in the marketing, man. Hands down.
What?
Yeah, they lie. So, like, I made my theories based on what they said, and I believe that, like, the whole Thanos story arc was going to be done in Infinity War, right? They wouldn't have Thanos, we'd have somebody else. And so my whole ending was for Infinity War. The whole ending of Tony snapping his fingers to defeat Thanos. I called that. That was a scene that I wanted to see.
And I can vouch for this. He called this well in advance. He told me about it. And for like a month or something, he was telling me about it. And I said, you need to write it down and etc. And he eventually did.
Yeah, I did write it down. I posted it on the website. And I went back, updated that thing with what I'm telling you now. And I revealed the posting date. Right, so it's postmark kind of thing. You can see that I called this way in advance. And the thing is that because I'm a big film buff, hands down, and watching all the films and everything, I was like, this is the most logical thing for Tony Stark to do if he was given that choice. And in my head, the snap was just a concept for him. But in the actual Endgame, it was more of a tangible thing. He knew about it, right? So it made more sense. I also didn't know that the use of the Infinity Glove would cause damage to the user. So I didn't know that.
That was new. That wasn't in the source material.
Yeah. So I was also going off the source material as well. But like the emotional aspect of Tony just turning his hand around, revealing that, and snapping to defeat Thanos, totally called it. I was like cheering, but not actually cheering because when I watch a film, I try to be quiet. But in my head, it was like Thor seeing the Hulk in Ragnarok for the first time. I was like, yes, right. It was beautiful seeing my scene on the silver screen. I guess I felt like some of the screenwriters, whenever they see their stuff on the screen and they're like, yeah, I came up with that, I created that. I didn't create it, but I'm like, I called it, and it was awesome. I just called it for the wrong film. The only thing I got right in that first film was I predicted Spider-Man dying in front of Tony Stark. And so I got that right. And because my whole ideal was he needed that logically for his character to be properly motivated for that snap. That was the trigger. I didn't realize that they were gonna like really just hammer that home for 5 years and that type of guilt. I thought it would have been a more immediate thing, but no, man, it was there, and it was beautiful. It paid off in spades, and so I guess I just want to quote because hey, man. Called it.
And he did. Again, I want to verify. He did.
I wish I should win a prize or something.
I concur.
A no prize. Here's your no prize. So
Internet, let us know what he should get. I think it should be a Snickers bar.
Or just, more subscribers. Subscribe to my channel. I'll take that.
It's a little red, let's see, right about here. Yeah, it should be right about there.
You'll find it.
The little red button that says subscribe.
I believe in you.
And hit the little bell next to it so you get notified when he posts another video about him and Lao Ma.
Yes. I intend to do lots more of those things because like he's got a lot of stories, and I definitely want to get as much as I can because he's old, he's up there, but he is like a jukebox, man. You put a quarter in that machine, you listen to the whole song. All right. I think the last one was like an hour long. This one isn't going to be an hour long, but anyways.
This one? I don't know.
I don't know, we're pushing 27 minutes at this point.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to John Wick yet.
I know. Let's go into John Wick.
All
right, so we're not really going to be spoiling John Wick because there's not really anything to spoil about this. You go to a John Wick film to watch John Wick do what he does best, which is killing everybody, right? And he does it in very creative ways. In fact, I'll be talking about John Wick 3, right? Robert will be talking about John Wick 1 and 2, okay? Yeah, and so there's, like I said, we're not spoiling anything. I mean, there's parts that you can spoil, but we're not going to do that. You're not going to be disappointed.
We already talked about, we already would have spoiled Endgame. They're either mad at us now or they're not.
Honestly, I think if they were watching this, then they would have already seen that like more times than I have.
One would hope.
Or they don't care about watching it at all.
In which case, I'm sorry.
Because like I'm pretty sure most of the world saw Endgame.
Hopefully.
Yeah, like 2.7 billion is what it's made so far. It's like a lot of money. Anyways, John Wick. Okay. Do you want to start at the beginning at the 1 and 2?
Sure. So, the John Wick franchise, we've been going back and forth about how we would describe it. Mike has been describing it as a kung fu movie with guns. And I think that's a very accurate description.
A 70s kung fu movie.
70s kung fu movie with guns.
Before the advent of wire fu.
I lean towards it a little bit from the narrative structure, which is that it's a slasher film, but where the masked killer is actually the good guy, and John Wick is the Jason Voorhees, the Leatherneck, or the Leatherface, that kind of thing. And because you're here to watch people die. That's why you go see Friday the 13th. That's why you go see Nightmare on Elm Street. You go to watch dumb kids who kind of deserve it really get killed in very interesting and creative ways. You go to a John Wick movie to watch John Wick kill just everybody in creative and interesting ways.
But I will say this, not so much like a horror film in that there isn't a whole lot of blood and gore. It's still there, but the thing is they're hyper-realistic with how people die, which is a different thing. And so in most action films and most slasher films, it's like Tarantino, when someone gets shot in the chest, blood goes everywhere, you know. But that's not the case in reality. You get shot in the chest, blood doesn't spatter out, okay? If it goes through, it spatters behind you. Right, but it has to go through, and so that one shot is not going to like produce a whole bunch of blood. And the thing is that it's also realistic in that if you have a balloon full of water, right, and you poke one hole in it, it's not going to leak out as fast. But you're going to poke multiple holes in it, it's going to leak out fast. So like when he shoots somebody, he shoots them a lot. All right, same thing with like stabbing and stuff. It's not just a one and done kind of deal. Whereas you see that in a lot of films, like, oh, I shot them in the arm and they fell over dead. That's
right.
No, it's not the case.
The movies go to a great deal of effort to be realistic in certain contexts.
Yeah,
and very fantastic in other contexts.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed, and I picked up on this because my sister-in-law was, maybe still is, I don't know, it's been a while, but was a competitive point shooter.
Oh, cool.
And she knows a great deal about guns, certainly more than I do. I'm lucky to know which end the bullet comes out of.
That's important.
Yeah,
especially.
But she talked about it, and she talks that a lot of his shots are he shoots people multiple times, and that's not to be gratuitous. It's because almost all of his shots are to the center mass, which is where a trained shooter will shoot for. So he'll shoot a person 2 or 3 times, and you can get shot 2 or 3 times in the chest. You're dead, but you're not dead. You're going to die. You're going to die soon, but you're still alive. You can still be, get up and walk around for another minute or something.
Yeah.
And so he'll shoot people 2 or 3 times, shoot somebody else, and once the immediate threat is done, he then turns back around and gets the headshot. Which is apparently how trained firearms experts will generally try to do that kind of thing. Now they jazz it up with twists and turns and all sorts of fun stuff because it is a movie. Judo, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But that commitment to this is what a real gunfight will look like is really good. Another thing, also their commitment to realism that I like is, so you've got John Wick, who is this master killer, master assassin, master fighter, and he can do he's a master judo, he gets all his judo throws and everything. No, he doesn't actually. A lot of the close quarter combat sequences, you will see him struggle. He grabs somebody, they grab him, and they kind of struggle for position, and they hit each other, and John Wick will go for a throw, and it won't work, and so he twists and goes into another throw. There's a lot of subtlety to these action sequences that are missing from other kung fu movies, from other fight scenes. That he will try a thing and it just won't work, or he'll have to try a thing 2 or 3 times, or he'll have to try a thing while his opponent is trying a different thing.
Yeah, it's not that one and done thing, like I said, like shooting in the arms. Like he'll go for a technique and they'll counter it like they're supposed to,
right?
And then he'll go for another thing. So it's not a matter of just knowing one thing and being really good. It's like I know several things. I know everything I can do and everything that they can do, and so I'm always you're gonna end up on your back and dead somehow.
What made Jackie Chan stand out against so many other martial art film characters and film actors in Hong Kong was he got hit. In his movies, he got hit, he got smacked, he got his ass kicked all the time, as opposed to, say, Bruce Lee. Now, he still would, win his fights, but his fights were a little bit more realistic because he'd, jam his fingers and all that kind of thing, and he'd play it for comedy. But the idea that this master martial artist, is still struggling to get techniques. It's not, I'm going to do this judo throw, and I do this judo throw perfectly. It's, I'm going to do this judo throw. Oh, no, wait, they blocked it. And that really adds some realism to it. That this is, even as a master that he is depicted to be, he still struggles, he still trips, he still falls over his opponents. So wonderful in that regard.
The key thing to pick up on is that even though he does struggle with stuff, he keeps going. That's one of the main reasons why he's successful, is that he never gives up. Even when he's been hit, even when he's been cut, even when he's been thrown or punched or whatever, he does not stop. He's like a force of nature almost. He just keeps going. So he has that mental discipline to keep going. Just, relating it to it, he stays calm and keeps going. Right. And that's going to be it's a huge thing. It's a mental thing.
The world of John Wick is a shadowy world of an underworld that is not very well defined deliberately. It is a world of safe havens and complicated social structures that all exist beneath the veneer of the world we recognize. That there is this whole subculture of gangsters and assassins and safe houses and support systems for these assassins and whatnot, in a very complicated, again, kind of underworld that is really, really beautiful in John Wick 1 and 2, and I haven't seen 3, as Mike mentioned, but the second movie leans heavily into the obligations of this underworld, and there's so much fun there to be had, and they really create this wealth of narrative options for them that they're hopefully going to be exploring in John Wick 4, and I hope they're going to be just leaning into and making this a full franchise, because boy is it nice.
I mean, it is a full franchise at this point. I say
yes.
3 movies. They're working on our 4th one. And the thing is that the reason why I say it's like a Kung Fu 70s film is that the character, the whole plot of every single movie, and we're not spoiling this, is just to give the main character a reason to kill everybody. And that is exactly what some of these old style Kung Fu films are, is that they give the main character a reason to beat everybody else up. All right, and the fun of the movie and the fun of the action film is just watching him creatively beat everybody up, right? And so there are some absolutely fun, fantastic fight scenes in all these movies. And like I said, I'll be talking about the John Wick 3 whenever it's my turn. Are we still on you?
One more thing I do want to talk about. This weekend, as we're filming this is the weekend that Godzilla King of the Monsters opened in the U.S.
Good movie.
It is. It is a very good movie. And that, talking about that movie, and is that like monster or is that boobies?
Monster because of the face.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, because this would be boobies.
Fair enough. I identify as a feminist, and I'm very uncomfortable now.
That was all you.
Yes, I know you were talking about.
You set me up.
You were talking about the birds. I understand.
Yes, I'm talking about the birds.
Sure.
Don't squeeze them; they'll peck you.
Godzilla and John Wick. So, a lot of people have been talking about the Godzilla, how it is a very simple plot, and you don't go to these movies for complicated plot. And I feel like that is an injustice. And that is inaccurate. You are not giving these movies a pass because you're here for something else. Talking about a complicated plot when it comes to Godzilla, much like talking about a complicated plot when it comes to John Wick or any movie of their ilk, is misidentifying the criteria of the art form. You don't talk about the complicated plot of a ballet. You don't talk about the complicated plot of professional wrestling or a cartoon.
It's a complicated plot in professional wrestling?
Yeah, there can be. There have been a couple.
Okay.
But that's an unfair standard to hold it to because you're not there for that. And it's not because you're lowering your standards so you can see a giant lizard stomp on a city or so you can see Kung Fu madman shooting everybody. It is a visual medium, meaning it's a film, and dialogue occurs even if it's nonverbal. The fight scenes you see in John Wick are their own story, are their own narratives.
Yep.
And to pretend that a narrative only occurs through dialogue is to rob yourself of the ability to really enjoy these masterful tales that are being told. Take away the rest of the movie and just watch one fight of John Wick, and you will see a single character who is struggling against odds and using creativity and resourcefulness to address the issue. You will see a story told in these fight scenes, and that is the narrative complexity. It's not subpar to, say, West Wing, for example. The narrative is not lacking there. It is being told through a different type of dialogue. It is being told through action. And to pretend John Wick somehow has a less complicated or less deserving plot than, say, the Godfather movies, which I'm sorry.
Honestly, body language is a language.
Yes.
Okay, you can tell an entire story just on, how you're acting. And so there are different levels. You can't compare something in a different context. I can't it's the same with martial arts. I can't apply something that has a square peg and put it and cram it into a round hole. It just doesn't work. And so it's unfair to try to do it, and it shows kind of a lack of understanding about what that is.
Right.
I mean, you don't go to a Godzilla film for comedy or complicated plot and character development, same as you go to John Wick. You don't go to John Wick for character development. Let me tell you, John Wick is the same at the end of the third movie as he was at the beginning of the first movie. Okay, 3 movies, he has not grown as a character. The only thing he has grown is his body count. Okay, he kills a crap ton of people, but like I said, it's fun in different ways and how he does it. So that's what you're paying for.
And the narrative and the plot is conveyed in a method other than dialogue. And so if you're there for Citizen Kane, the problem isn't that you came in with too high of standards. The problem is you came in with the wrong standards. And it is frustrating when you have genuine works of art that are being produced that are being judged unfairly. It's like judging a chess match by a football game. That's just not, you're wrong.
They haven't tackled him yet.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
We're assuming that you probably have seen John Wick 1 and 2. So I'm curious, tell us about John Wick 3, because it is a unique experience from what I understand.
Oh man, John Wick 3, honestly, I think that movie made more in its opening weekend than the other 2 movies combined in their opening weekend. It's amazing. And the very first podcast that we did, like a year ago now, was about John Wick 3 and how Martin Coscos was going to be in it. And so he does not disappoint, right? He's in the movie, and again, I can't really spoil this film because you're not going to it for character, for plot twist, or whatever like that. I mean, they're there, but you're going for something different. The action sequences are amazing, beautifully shot, beautifully lit. The set pieces, everything. There's even a fight scene in a kind of an antique warehouse, and the antiques they have are like antique weapons. It's amazing. It is awesome, and it also highlights a certain level of realism because at a certain point these dudes are like chucking knives at each other, right? But not all of them are actually going blade in. Some of them are just kind of bouncing off because of the handle, and that's how it is in real life. You're not going to have that perfect throw, and so
especially not in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm going to chuck everything at you and hope something sticks, and if it does, awesome, I'm going to do it again because that blade is still in there.
Right.
And so the movie is phenomenal. Like I said throughout the other ones, they gave John Wick a reason to kill everybody, and that's what he does, and he kills everybody, and it's beautiful. The interesting thing, the thing that I picked up on was the lack of judo in the first, majority of the film. Like in John Wick 2, and even in John Wick 1, there's a whole lot of sequences where he's doing judo, and it's specifically judo because he's grabbing dudes by the collar of their jacket, and he's got a lot of really well-dressed villains that he takes out. Like cannon fodder guys are really we're suit and tie kind of people.
Well, let's deviate here for a second. So what is the main difference between judo and jiu-jitsu? Painting with a very, very broad brush. Jiu-jitsu is about being on the ground and about submissions. Judo is about standing up and taking your opponent to the ground. Again, very broad brush. But that's going to be kind of the distinction why we're saying judo as opposed to jiu-jitsu. So.
Right, and it's very much the use of the gi, and you got to trace back some of the, I think you even talked about this in the first one, you got to trace back some of the martial arts to why the people are throwing other people face up and not face down, and it has to do with the Japanese culture, and I guess not dying face down, being face up and looking at your opponent when you kill them, but they would throw them, pull out a little dagger and stab them, and most of their opponents would have the armor, and so it'd be like a beetle on their back, right? They can't get up as quickly, and so that's kind of the context of why they would throw them on their back. But John Wick does the very same thing. He just doesn't use a sword, he uses a pistol. So he would throw somebody, pick up a pistol and go bang, bang, bang. So it's very close range. They're already on the back. Let me shoot them, and I know I'm not going to miss because I'm like that, And so it's very similar. So it's used in the right context, but it is very much, judo because of the gi. There are certain things that you can do with that you can't do no gi.
Or are very much harder.
Yeah,
because there's always going to be that one person in the comment section that's going to be like, you can totally do that without a gi. Yes, you're right, but
you can't do it very well, and you can't do it in the context of that where somebody is resisting and doesn't want to do it and countering whatsoever.
And
like
you've
that.
got 9 other things happening.
But like I said, there in the first couple of movies, you can make it a drinking game for the most part. But in this one, if you were to make it a drinking game, like like throughout the entire film, you'd be like, oh, there's a throw shot, there's a throw shot. 10 minutes later, shot. 20 minutes later, shot. Then the second to the last fight scene, they just like judo throws everywhere. Like he just goes insane. They literally doubled the amount of judo throws in that one fight scene than they did in the entire movie. So you go from occasional shot to, oh, let me get the bottle, guzzle, 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 guzzle. Is he still going? Crap, guzzle, guzzle, guzzle. Oh man, it's out. Where's all the rum gone? Boom, and it's just like.
And Michael was never seen again.
Exactly. That like if you do that, don't do that unless you have like beer and you're over 21. I'll just preface that, because that will mess you up. There's a whole crap ton of judo in that last little bit, and then I think there are 2 throws in the last fight scene. And I'm counting mostly John Wick. I think I counted Halle Berry did 1. They focused a lot on her. There's that's probably like a 5-minute fight scene of her and her dogs and John Wick. And the thing is that like John Wick is there and he's doing his thing, but they don't focus on him. It's like the 2 go in here and then he goes off and they just stick with her throughout the entire thing. And it's hilarious and just awesome. And it's totally like I read in production that she cracked or broke 2 ribs, and during that fight scene, there's a couple of moments where I can see, I'm like, yeah, I can believe that, doing that the way she did, because she's not as polished with some of the stuff that John Wick is. That's like the difference. Like everyone has to have their own particular fighting style.
Well, she and I don't know who Keanu Reeves trained with the first 2 movies. In the third movie, she and Halle Berry and Keanu Reeves trained with some Tennessee judokas called the Collier brothers.
I think they trained with them for the first one as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're starting to gain some notoriety. I'm enjoying it. I don't know the Collier brothers personally or professionally, but they're a little notorious on like Bullshido and other networks because they, I think they just made it up. Like on some Thursday afternoon, they're like, hey, we're going to make a judo style. And they made a judo style, and it's really good. So
it comes back to the human body can only move in so many different ways, and so you're going to have a lot of the same things, just with different names.
It's just,
but there are some things that are very clearly judo, especially in the second film. There's something, if you look closely, they do what I call the judo hop, where it's like they're bouncing and then he throws them, right? And that is very specifically judo. It's the only place I've ever seen that is in judo classes and tournaments and stuff where they grab the colors of the gi and they're using the gi and shuffling and everything in the movement to throw them and get them off balance. And so that is very prevalent in there. That's why I think it's the martial art he does predominantly is judo. Now they mix in some eskrima, and I want to talk about Mark.
Let's talk about Mark.
Because
hi, Mark.
Yes.
Come on our show, man.
I know. At least watch the show. But this movie definitely highlighted him. And the thing is that I was a fan. Let me say this. I was a fan of Mark before I started doing the martial art that he's in. Okay, he's like a 7th degree black belt in this martial art, and it shows. Like there was like as he was doing his fight scenes, I'm sitting there going, "Oh, I know that, I know that, I know that. I teach that, I do that." I thought that's cool, can't do that, but whatever. That's Mark. It's just the great thing about Mark is that this movie being what it is, and being that you're coming.
We should stop here. Mark Dacascos. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we've actually said his name. We've just said Mark.
That's right. We're assuming that you know stuff.
Mark Dacascos. Yes.
We're not assuming that you're a bird that we just talked about.
Yes. Mark Dacascos is his father Al Dacascos helped to grow Kaji Kembo, helped found One Hop Kendo. And Mark Dacascos is a very accomplished television and film actor. He was in Only the One in with Jet Li,
Strong?
Only the Strong, the Capoeira movie. He played in Stargate Atlantis for a little while. He was.
I know him from his time on TV when he played the Crow.
I was going to say that. Really Stairway to Heaven, I think it was called.
Yeah, he was also in Double Dragons. He's been in a lot of.
We don't need to mention that movie.
Yeah,
I feel bad. I feel bad for even having seen that movie.
He was in the Brotherhood of the Wolf. He's been in a lot.
Yes, that's right.
He was even on. I think the 5th season of Agents of Shield. So he's been in a lot of things. And the thing is that this movie being about action, and if you look at actors have to make it so that you believe whatever is going on. Acting is basically really good lying. That's what it is, all right? So you have to believe something that isn't true. You have to believe that this is going on. In this film, in this context, fighting, Mark doesn't have to act. Mark is Mark. Mark's probably been fighting since he was like a sperm, right? That's how he got born. He just roundhouse kicked all the other sperm. Like, this is mine. I'm going to be born now. I mean, he's been literally doing this all his life, right? And so he doesn't really have to act. They probably just was like, okay, Mark, camera's going to be over here. You've got 3 bad guys and this kind of weapon in 30 seconds. Go.
Try not to kill anybody. It's like that scene from Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, when they were shooting Green Hornet. They didn't tell him what to do. They were like, just come down here, try to leap these stairs in one go, and just make it look good.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't believe that's what they did with Mark.
Yeah, I'm positive is that, especially because if you look at the martial arts, and the martial arts kind of the way I do, you see that what he is doing is very much more the one-hop kendo, and is very much the well-rounded type stuff, even though they give him a sword, and they kind of play him off as Japanese, right? The sword is a straight sword. It's a short sword. It's about the length of an eskrima stick, okay? So you actually have a lot of Filipino martial arts. They just use a straight blade instead of a stick, and that's how they're moving. They're also moving around in a very kung fu type of way, so it's not really Japanese. In fact, John Wick is more Japanese than they are as far as their fights, but that really doesn't matter because it's freaking awesome to watch. They do, and I'm pretty sure, unless they specifically wrote the role for Mark, I think this scene, and I'm not spoiling, but it occurred after his casting. They were like, oh, we got Mark? Okay, let's have him play a Japanese sushi chef, okay? Because he spent,
of course.
Yeah, he spent a very long time as the host of Iron Chef, right? And so that's his world, right? And so they were like, oh, he can totally act as a chef. And so he was his first scene, his opening scene that they show him is him as a sushi chef, making.
I'm genuinely curious. I wonder if he can cook.
He probably can, man.
I don't know. It would not surprise me. I'm thoroughly prepared to believe that he is a great cook and that he's incredible. I could believe that he would burn water.
I mean, I don't know, man. At this point, I'm a fan.
I understand.
I think Mark could do anything if he wanted to, but so he is playing this character, Japanese sushi chef, and he's playing this hardened assassin, and then at one point in the movie he just switch, and it's like Mark is Mark, and you can see this as a fanboy. You can see this. He switches to I'm having fun. I'm a fanboy. This is cool. I'm going to do some great fight scenes, have some awesome dialogue, enjoy my time, killing people essentially or fighting, and it's glorious. It fits. Like I said, you're not seeing this movie for character development at all. You're seeing this for awesome action, and that's what he delivers. And so it's wildly perfect. I think he is on all honesty, I think he would be the scene stealer in the film. Every scene that he's in is oh, that's awesome, that's awesome, that's awesome. And like I said, for me, it was kind of oh, yay, 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 yay. Oh, that's cool.
We got to get him on the show.
We do. Like I said, I hope he sees this.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been...
Hey, Mark, if you see this and want to come on the show, we can make it worth your while. I got a Snickers bar right here.
Or even better, Sifu Ao, who I know, showed this to your son, so he can show, maybe with you. Let's have both of you guys.
Don't get his parents involved,
yes.
Man. Don't. Man, that's just cheap.
That's how you have to go with these things. a lot of times, if I wanted to get a hold of a dude, I'd call his girl, right? Same thing. If I want to get a hold of Mark, I'd talk to his. I got it. I don't have Mark's phone number. I got Al's.
Yeah, fair enough.
Al's awesome.
It's like the modern trend for handling sexual harassment on Facebook and whatnot is a lot of the people who, if they get sexually harassed and they get guys messaging, women and non-men and being like, hey, I want to whatever, blah blah blah. They don't like answer back. They use that person's profile and like message their girlfriends or message their mothers and like, hey, guess what your son has been sending me.
Yes, that'll close it right there.
Which is great.
Yes.
What would be even better is if guys would stop sexually harassing people online.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. If you have that problem, find a bird.
Yeah. Another thing that I really enjoy in the movies is their emphasis on language. John Wick, they established he speaks Russian pretty fluently. I really liked in the second movie, he speaks sign language. Yes. He deals with an assassin that, for whatever reason, she is speaking in sign language, and he speaks it right back, which is really, really cool. The second movie had Common really carrying his weight dramatically and action-wise.
Unfortunately, he's not in the third one.
That is a shame.
Spoilers. I mean, you can read the cast list and find that out.
Well, let's just... It's safe to say anybody in one John Wick movie that's not named Keanu Reeves is not going to be in the next John Wick movie.
Well, unless you're that one dude who's the concierge at the hotel.
Oh, man, he's awesome.
Oh,
and that accent?
He gets a, like...
Oh, what is his name?
I don't know his name, but he gets time to shine in number 3.
Oh, good, because he's terrific.
Yeah.
There's an actor, he was in... he's done a bunch of television shows. I cannot remember his name. He plays the concierge at the Continental. They have these hotels that are essentially safe ground. And kind of Highlander rules. If
you beat me by that much, man. It's Highlander rules.
And but he's great. He's got this rich African accent that is so delightful, and he's a great character. And then you have Mr. Wednesday. From what? No, Mr. Wednesday. He's Mr. Wednesday in the American Gods TV series.
Oh.
He was in Deadwood.
Sorry, 2 series.
Shane
Black.
Yeah, Shane Black.
That's Winston.
Okay, that is his name. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's a lot of. I didn't know he had a name. I thought he was just the president of the Continental Club.
Everybody in the movie has a name.
And
even in Star Trek, the guys who had red shirts were called the red shirt guy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yes.
The movies. We go back to the original setup. The movies inhabit this beautiful, beautiful world that is so rich, and it is deliberately ambiguous. They pay for money. They exchange gold coins for services and whatnot for money. They are very ambiguous how much a coin represents, and that's deliberate. There's so much fun to these movies.
Anyways, I feel like we should be wrapping it up by now. It's been a long one. It's been a good one. Right? Did you have fun?
I had fun.
Yeah, so did I.
We got to promote cancer awareness. We got to talk about some great movies that are definitely worth checking out.
Yes, definitely watch them.
We got to talk about some boobies and
some birds. Rats that play basketball.
Rats that play basketball, and we're pretty sure. I'm telling you, one of them is going to get recruited for the UNC or Duke.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely,
definitely. So, anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Going to be doing more with him, more with Lama. Definitely subscribe and follow us, and we got a Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and
the cats,
all
the
that
cat
stuff.
pictures, yeah.
Yeah, cat pictures, yeah. So I'm posting random stuff all the time.
It's great. You got to put the ranks for our system in cats. So you got which color cat?
All of them are tkfmma. Okay, all of them either in with that. The website is tkfmma.com. So definitely check us out, doing more stuff like this. Like I said, hope you enjoyed it. Okay, and TKF stands for
Tactical Kung Fu and Mixed Martial Arts.
I told you I was going to get that right.
You were, and I'm proud of you.
But I was like,
yeah, I saw that too. Anyway,
all right,
thank
guys.
you so much.
Remember, Teach the Sky.
Yes, that's my website, teachthesky.com. Totally unrelated. Quality literature, tkfmma.com. Our website. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Take it easy.